Unlock love's power now. What holds you back? Picture this, a quiet evening, the kind where the sky blushes in shades of orange and pink, and the world feels like it's holding its breath. In the stillness, there's a person, perhaps you, perhaps me, sitting by a window, staring out at a world that feels both beautiful and unreachable. The air is heavy with unsaid words, missed chances, and a longing so deep it feels like it might shatter something inside. Forgive me, the whisper escapes, not loud enough for anyone to hear, but powerful enough to shake the soul. Forgive me for all the times you looked at me with love in your eyes, and I looked the other way. For the moments when your vulnerability met my fear, and I turned away instead of toward you. The weight of these unspoken apologies lingers, like a shadow cast by a fading sun. And yet, in the shadow, there is a glimmer of hope, a chance to do better, to love more freely, to let the walls around the heart crumble. The journey begins with a question: what is stopping you from spreading love freely and abundantly? At first, the answers come quickly, like a defensive reflex. Fear. Pride. The wounds of past rejections. The vulnerability that love demands, a rawness that feels too exposing, too dangerous. But the deeper you look, the more you realize these barriers are self-made, constructed brick by brick with assumptions and doubts. Memories rise to the surface, unbidden but vivid. A friend reaching out, their voice tinged with hesitation, only to be met with a distracted response. A stranger's smile that went unreturned because you were lost in your own thoughts. A child's outstretched arms, seeking comfort, met instead with hurried impatience. Each memory is a tiny sting, a reminder of moments when love could have flowed but was dammed by hesitation or neglect. And yet, even as the guilt settles in, there's a thread of humor woven through it all. Why am I like this? You think, with a self-deprecating chuckle. I've been acting like love is a limited resource, like I'll run out if I give too much away. The absurdity of it sparks a smile, and with it, a sliver of determination. Perhaps it's time to stop rationing love like it's gold dust and start spreading it like wildflowers. The realization hits like a burst of sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Love is not meant to be hoarded. It's meant to flow, onto you, through you, and from you. But to let it flow, you must first have the courage to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is terrifying, no doubt about it. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, arms outstretched, trusting that the wind will catch you. Grant me the courage, you plead, the words coming from a place deeper than thought, to allow love to flow freely. To let it touch me, heal me, and pass through me to others. It's not a prayer for strength but for faith, faith that love, even when it hurts, is always worth the risk. A vivid image takes shape, a river that had been choked by debris, finally breaking free. The rush of water is exhilarating, unstoppable, life-giving. This is what love feels like when it's allowed to move. It's messy and unpredictable but also beautiful and necessary. And as the river flows, it carries away the debris of fear and doubt, leaving behind a sense of clarity and purpose. With this newfound clarity, the next steps become obvious. They're small, almost imperceptible, but they carry immense weight. You pick up the phone and call the friend you've been meaning to check on. You smile at the stranger on the street, even if they don't smile back. You hold someone's hand, not out of obligation, but because you want them to feel the warmth of your presence. Each act of love feels like a pebble dropped into a pond, sending ripples far beyond what you can see. And as you give, you begin to notice something unexpected. The more love you let flow, the more it returns to you. It's not always direct or immediate, but it's there, in the moments of connection, the glimmers of understanding, the quiet satisfaction of knowing you've made someone's day a little brighter. As the journey continues, one truth becomes undeniable: love is not about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's in the small, everyday acts, the moments when you choose to be present, to be kind, to be open. Love is a practice, an ongoing commitment to vulnerability and connection. And so, with a heart that feels both lighter and fuller, you take another step forward. Hold my hand, you whisper, not to anyone in particular but to the love that flows through all of us. Hold my hand as I find the faith to open myself fully to the vulnerability that love requires. Help me to see where love is needed and to give it freely. The longing that remains is no longer for what's missing but for what could be. It's a longing to love more, to give more, to be more. Because in the end, love is not something you hold on to. It's something you let flow, onto you, through you, and from you. And as you let it flow, you realize that the very act of loving is its own reward. Thank you for helping us spread love.